Lionel and Patrick, what a pair, thinking outside the box. They don't play fair, unconventional ways, breaking all the rules, making their own path, never following the fools. Unconventional playbook, rewriting the game. Lionel and Patrick, they'll never be the same. Dancing to their own beat in a world so plain. Unconventional playbook, they're here to entertain. Lionel's a dreamer with stars in his eyes. Patrick's a schemer with tricks in disguise. Together they're unstoppable, a force to be reckoned with. Their unconventional playbook, they'll never be second. Unconventional playbook, rewriting the game. Lionel and Patrick, they'll never be the same. Dancing to their own beat in a world so plain. Unconventional playbook, they're here to entertain. Against all odds they stand tall. Through highs and lows they never fall. Lionel and Patrick, a duo so rare. With their unconventional playbook, they're always there. Unconventional playbook, rewriting the game. Lionel and Patrick, they'll never be the same. Dancing to their own beat in a world so plain. Unconventional playbook, they're here to entertain.
Powered by Riverside FM.
Welcome to another edition of Unconventional Playbook. I'm your host, Lionel Jones, along with Patrick Buchanan, who is in the house. Pat, what's up, man? How's your day been going?
My day's good, man. Just another day grinding it out. Get the chance to get excited, for this moment. Get on with you. Get on with the nation. So, I'm good, man. Excited about talk a little bit of Vikings, a little bit of sports. So, hey, here we are.
Yeah, man, feels good to be 1-0. It could be worse. We could be 0-1 right now, Pat, staring at the San Francisco 49ers coming in here. The Purple did their job on Sunday. We're sitting here 1-0. I think we got a better chance than most people are giving us on Sunday to defeat the 49ers. They got that quick turnaround. They got to travel. They got one less day of practice. I'm sure that Sam Darnold is giving them a little bit of intel, giving the Vikings a little bit of intel of the systems and how they like to do things, different tendencies. So I think that line, I know the San Francisco 49ers are a favorite in that game, but I think that game's going to be a little bit closer than what people think.
Yeah, it could be a little bit closer. I mean, I'm not worried. I believe, and I'll live and die by it, right? I believe the defense is going to take care of their job, right? My thing is, can we get a fast start with the offensive line up front? That's the only question. I'm not worried about it, right? If the line giving the protection and blocking for Aaron Jones up front, then it's going to be a fantastic game.
Yeah, it should be a really, really good game. Some breaking news over the last 24 hours. My guy, Harrison Phillips, defensive tackle for the Minnesota Vikings, got his contract extension. According to Tom Pelissero, the Vikings are in agreement 2-year extension worth up to $19 million, with more than $13 million guaranteed. With this extension, it means that Phillips is under contract with the Vikings through 2026. I think that's a pretty significant signing. What's your thoughts?
Oh, it's a definite. It's one of them moves again where we going to take care of ours, right? Who we are in this building, and Kwesi did a good job of taking care of, right? You're talking about somebody to plug the middle right there for us. Someone who I believe was voted a captain as well on this team. So you kept a captain around, a leader, a guy who's been helping out the new guys when it comes to the culture, the defense, everything. So he's an important piece of everything that B-Flow's doing back there. So an important piece of the team in general, the locker room. So that was a great sign. That's a nice little contract for us to get rid of that. So just keep taking care of the guys, right? Go ahead. I think Bynum's next or something. Martellus or Bynum, like they next. So go ahead and keep taking care of the guys, and we good to go.
Yeah, really happy with the Harrison Phillips sign. I just remember Metellus and Harrison Phillips standing behind B-Flow when he gave his press conference after Tua Tagovailoa came out. That kind of shows his loyalty, and he fits the system. Great locker room guy, great leader. It speaks volumes when your peers vote you a team captain. I thought it was a great find for the Minnesota Vikings when they got him from Buffalo. So he's just been a stalwart inside at that defensive tackle spot. Pat, you and I haven't had an opportunity to do some Q&As. So I figured we would do some Q&As today, UP Nation. I put a call out in our community tab, and UP Nation hit me with some emails and some questions that they would like for us to answer tonight. You down for that?
Been a little while. It's been a little while.
It has been a little while. It has been a little while. First question is from Cassie, Lionel, and Patrick. Sam Darnold had a pretty good game on Sunday. Is there a chance that Sam Darnold could lead us to a deep playoff run? I'll let you start with that, Pat.
Consistency. If he can be consistent and he can move the sticks, there's when I mean inconsistency, he was we were 3 of 10 on third downs, right? And that's got to be a lot better than that, and we got to have better consistency. Once again, we didn't score in the first. If I'm not mistaken, we didn't score in the first and the fourth quarter. We got to get better with those. It's only week 1, but I think because of the defense and because of Aaron Jones, and if he can control the game the way he did with the ball and moving the sticks and throwing the ball like he did, it's 100%. Like if you look at week 1 and you can't go everything off of week 1. But we know for the next couple of weeks, the Green Bay Packers are going to be in some trouble, right? So you look at the division. Detroit still looks strong, so the Bears going to have to find a way to score on the offensive end. So right now, it's us in Detroit that's looking pretty good. And that's just a one-game recipe, right? One game. We can take it by quarters, and we can look up after 4 weeks. But, yeah, I mean, he can. Why not, right? But we got to be able to get through this gauntlet, right? And we got to be able to get through the tough schedule, and we got to be able to hit that adversity, right? And Addison may not play, right? Hawkinson still ain't back. So we got to get through some little early, but I think we've shown adversity, especially what we went through with KJ and Blackman. So I think we've already showed some adversity. So it's just continue to go through adversity and for him to continue to learn. And he's so even keel, man. I got to get with this even keelness of him, man. I got to get with it.
Yeah, I love the word that you use, consistency, because that's what it's going to be all about. And, there's so many different variables to the success of Sam Darnold. He passed his first test, I guess, on Sunday, if you were to call it. But I think you brought up a good point in terms of what he has to go up against in these next couple of weeks. It is a gauntlet, and I think it's going to tell a lot about KOC. I think it's going to tell a lot about Sam Darnold. It's going to tell a lot about this team going through this gauntlet. The one thing that you don't want is the Vikings to have a donut, going through this gauntlet. I don't know what is a good record. They've got a chance to go 4-1, 3-2 would be acceptable. Most people probably think they'll go 2-3 over the next 5 games. I think 1-4, I think people will start to hit the panic button. So, I guess the key word to the question is chance. And I do think Sam Darnold has a chance to make a playoff run with the Vikings. If they can get through this gauntlet, I think over the course of the season, I feel like a combination of two things. The Minnesota Vikings are going to be better. They're going to get better each week. If they can stay healthy, they're going to get better each week. And then the schedule kind of eases up a little bit. And now you're going back around a second time in your division. You're a little bit more familiar with what the Packers are going to do. You're a little bit more familiar with the Lions and the Bears. So I think that bodes well for the Minnesota Vikings going forward to the playoffs. So to answer the question, I think, yes, Sam Darnold has a chance to lead us into a deep playoff run, but I think the next 5 games are going to tell a lot about Sam Darnold.
100%. Next 5 is big, and those are great records that you put out there. I still wouldn't hit the panic button even at a 1-4, right? Because there have been teams that do fantastic things after 1-4, right? We've seen teams start off with 1-4 starts and go on a run and make the playoffs, right? That's 5 games. That means there's 12 games left, right? They could go 10-2 in the next 12, right, games, and that's 11 wins right there. So, there's things that can happen. I wouldn't hit the panic. It depends on how the games look.
Yeah.
within those five, right? To me,
Yep.
it's how they look, right, within it. If it's some here, just, in there and it's real tight, right? If we losing the games like we just won the game, then that's a panic. But if these are some tight ones in year 3 now, KOC, and now you got, the guys in the locker room, they know how to win these tight ones better, then, we'll see. So, great
Yep. Great.
opportunity. Good question, Cassie.
Yep. Yep. John Merrick is asking, do you think the running game will hold up this year? Obviously, the first game of the season, I think everyone labels the running game B plus A minus. Do you think the Vikings continue the success with their running game?
100%. 100%.
I'll start with that one. It's
Go ahead.
okay. It depends on the health of two things: that offensive line, and it depends on the health of Aaron Jones. Aaron Jones, as we know, he's had the injury bug over the years with the Green Bay Packers. He could never have that consistency of staying on the field, doing a full campaign. He's been in and out, but when he's in and he's healthy, he's been effective. I love what I saw. I think the key to this is I love what I saw from KOC on Sunday. Is as successful as Aaron Jones was running the football, he spelled him a couple of possessions with Ty Chandler. And so I think, KOC and those guys understand, like, we just can't pound this guy and give him 25 to 30 carries a game, although, it's kind of sometimes what we may need. We've got a second guy in Ty Chandler who can come in and spell Aaron Jones. That's going to take a lot of the hits that he would take normally when he's grounding and pounding the ball. I think if they keep splitting time like that and giving Ty Chandler a chance to show what he can do as well, Aaron Jones is going to take less hits. And so I think that running game is going to be more consistent than it's been the last couple of years. Now, that offensive line has got to stay healthy. Reisner is going to have to come back. Ed Ingram is going to have to play better. But if those two combination of things continue to happen well, health on the running back, health on the offensive line, I think that running game is going to be pretty good this year.
Yeah. And I'm going to just piggyback off you starting with the offensive line. The one thing that I can say that I do believe in and that we kept the right guys is the depth, right? So if someone does go down, I do feel confident that we got someone on the bench. Just going back to the preseasons and watching, right? Watch the way that Gaskin was running the ball with that second unit, right? And those are the guys that they kept. So I believe there can be consistency there. You got some great leaders up there when it comes to that, and some guys that have been, that are veterans now, right, up at that front line. So I that's where it's all going to start. I think he got 16 touches, right?
Yeah.
And that's a good number for him to be that productive. 16 is not wearing him out. There was a bunch of backs that got 25 and catches like that. Well, you're not playing for it right now. And giving Ty Chandler some run in there too, and being able to bring, the fullback in to be able to help him, and using the two tight ends, the more and more bodies up there, that's good. And the more that you can spell them and give possessions, away to Ty Chandler, I think that's just going to help. So this is one of the things, and this is the thing that at the end of the day, right, can he keep up with that? When he is healthy, he's a proven one of the top backs in the league.
Oh, no question.
He is healthy. So it's not like last year where we were asking for Madison to do something he's never done. Well, this time we got somebody back there that is accustomed to doing it. And the way he finished his year off, those last 3 games that he played was the most fantastic that he ever looked. And so that just extended to over here, and the excitement that he has over here, the man looks explosive. He looks explosive. So, yeah, I think he will be able to. If he's fully healthy, he's going to be 1,000-yard plus back, double-figure touchdown running back, and that's really going to help us out and help Sam Darnold.
To piggyback off that last question, I have another question from Aaron, and he's asking, when Dalton Reisner come back, is he going to start at right guard? Because Ed Ingram has been struggling. I think if Ed Ingram continues to struggle, I think Dalton Reisner will be starting at right guard. But I think KOC is going to make sure that Ed Ingram is not the guy. They're going to give him every opportunity to succeed. It's one of the reasons why I believe it was the Cleveland scrimmage where he played pretty much the whole game. You know, they want to give him opportunities to develop. They see something in him. They feel like he can be, you know, a right guard of the future. He just needs a little bit of work. I know KOC has talked about that during his press conferences. So I think when Dalton Reisner comes back, he'll be part of that rotation. I don't think he'll get that spot right away unless Ed Ingram is just looking like trash out there. And I didn't think on Sunday he looked like trash. He got beat a couple times, struggled early, but I think he settled in quite nicely for the rest of the game. So if he continues on that trend, I think Ed Ingram will be the starting right guard. But Dalton Reisner does have a chance.
Yeah, he got a chance, but you know, Dalton with your injury or whatever, like hopefully Ed Ingram has the right mindset, take advantage of the first 4 weeks. Just get 1% better, get better every snap. And if he does that, and we're being able to not just lean on running to the left, and we can run to that right side too, especially you know in the B gaps or you know in the A gaps where him and Bradbury are at. So yeah, it's I'm not going to say he is because I need to see these 4 weeks. These 4 weeks will dictate it though. If he's not playing good, he's week 6. He's not the starter.
Yeah,
I'll tell you
agreed.
that. Right?
Yep,
He's
agreed.
not the starter week 6 after the bye week. So if he's playing good, that's his. And you might be able to come in and spell me, but if he's playing fantastic, right? If his PPF is really up there, I wouldn't mess with him. Right? I wouldn't mess with, I would just like Reisner, you're there if some injury happens, but I wouldn't mess with him. He's confident if he's playing at a high level up to week 4. I wouldn't mess with him at all, even with subbing him.
Yep. Agreed. Next question is from Corey. Oh, I love this question. He says, Lionel and Pat love the show. On the play that Addison got hurt on, that felt like a hip drop tackle to me. The NFL said that they were going to put a premium on stopping the hip drop tackles. What's your opinion on that play, and should that have been labeled a hip drop tackle?
Well, number one, I think the NFL is nuts for the hip drop tackle, right? Because
Right.
I just think it's like I get it can happen to us and you know what that play felt like, but you're asking like 200 and some pound fast speed and you're grabbing someone like number one, you can't tackle someone up high. That's going to be a missed tackle, right?
Yep.
You want
Yep.
them to stay away from the knees and lower, right? Sometimes to stay away from the knee area. For me to grab you around your hips, like, and when you're teaching D-backs, right, or when you're teaching basketball, like the belly button is what is the tail of all
Yep.
tails, right? The belly button. So that's my target, right? And so to grab someone, but how else are you supposed to bring someone down? So that's just me. I'm not a fan of the rule because I don't see where it's going to be enforced because it's the rule is a gray area, right? It's super gray. It's not black and white because you are going to grab people by the hips and bring them down, right? So
Yeah.
I don't think it was just because I'm not in that place where, you know, I'm not in that place where people maliciously hurt someone there.
Yeah, I look at it. I'm right in step with you. You know, I know that the NFL brass, man, they're trying to make the game safer. You can see it in the special teams kickoff now where, you know, I don't know if that's what they expected with the kickoffs. I haven't seen a lot of dynamic plays off the kickoff. They were talking about how, you know, it's going to make it more exciting, you know, the kick returns. I haven't seen many kick returns. You know, you got the concussion protocol, can't lead with your head, spearing, and now you got They got rid of the horse collar. Now they're talking about the hip drop tackle. All these things are set in stone to make the game a little bit safer, but I think it makes it hard for players. And I think it makes sometimes situations that you're faced with in the game a little bit more unrealistic, I guess the word is for me. I think by definition, though, to answer the question, I think by definition, it was a hip drop tackle. If that wasn't a hip drop tackle, because I said it as soon as it occurred and Addison went out, I said, wasn't that a hip drop? If that wasn't a hip drop tackle, like, I don't know what is. I would like for somebody to show me a film of a hip drop tackle, because I thought if they're going to have that rule in, then the referees have to enforce it. I mean, they enforce everything else. What is the other thing, Pat, that they're trying to enforce on the offensive line? The offensive tackle now has to be up on the line of scrimmage. Up on the line of scrimmage a little bit farther. Now they're dinging dudes as soon as the ball is snapped because they're too far back. So all of these crazy rules, man, it's getting tough to play football. But I understand the intent. You know, it's trying to make the game a little bit safer.
Yeah, they're trying to make the game. The hip check, the hip, I don't see how they're going to be able to, because people are going to complain, and that is a win-loss with that one. The offensive line thing, so the tackles' heads have to line up with the center's waist, right?
Right.
But and I get it, they're trying to get an extra step because these defensive ends are nutty, right? But why don't you just line up with the guards? The guards aren't getting this, the tackles that are getting the penalties. So just stay in line with the guard and you're fine. Stop trying to get an extra step back, right?
Yeah.
Because they're coming, right? That, to me, they need to work on technique better and be better, at it, chip wherever the strong person is at. I don't know, but yeah, and I don't have a problem with the rule, but hell, you can't back up all the way to the backfield,
Right.
as a tackle. Like, you gonna have to have technique and some strength within that, right? Yeah, they coming. So, but like, yeah, and I just kept watching them back up. I'm like, man, just line up with the guard, and this won't happen. When it happened on Thursday Night Football, I was like, seriously, you didn't learn from the first one. You just got flagged again and flagged again. And then on the other side with Kansas City, I'm like, so what was you doing? Was you playing video games? You weren't watching him getting tagged for it? Right? So I was like, man, y'all. And then everybody on Sunday, you didn't watch the game on Thursday night, like, a memo's gonna come out and they're gonna keep flagging, and those flags, I mean, that's 5 yards, man. That's 5 yards, no matter how you look at it.
Yeah, for sure. Great question. Zach asks, everybody has been talking about Sam Darnold in terms of signing somewhere else. Is it on the table for him to return to the Vikings if he plays well as a backup?
With them having things in plan, and I know this is a new I want to touch this, Coach, right?
All right.
So I know there's a new general manager and a new head coach, right?
Yep.
And I want to take everybody back to Case Keenum, right? And the way that Case Keenum was playing. And Case Keenum wasn't the starting quarterback, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yep.
Case Keenum became the starting quarterback. We did not re-sign Case Keenum because we didn't think he was a starting quarterback.
Yeah.
Case Keenum was a starting quarterback, right? He led, right? We talk about the greatest throw ever, right? The miracle. Right?
I remember Zimmer said, I remember this. Zimmer said Case Keenum is not a franchise quarterback or starting quarterback. He didn't say franchise. He said starting quarterback. He said because there were plays in the playbook that they couldn't run because he couldn't make all the throws. That's what he said.
Yeah. So, and I'm just going back to there's somebody who performed well and we didn't want to keep and start. I think they're invested in J.J. McCarthy, no matter what happens. But how how do you not if this man is? So I give you Deshaun Watson. So here's my example.
Oh boy.
Here's my example, right? So
Oh.
Deshaun Watson gets injured last year.
Yeah.
Deshaun is not even playing good. But
Right.
my man Joe Flacco,
Yeah. Joe Flacco
39-year-old
balled out.
quarterback,
Yeah.
right, comes
Yeah.
in there and is slinging the ball and probably made the Pro Bowl last year. I don't even know, but his numbers were top 5 numbers every single week, right?
Yep.
Led him playoffs, everything. They don't re-sign him because they're paying Deshaun Watson.
Yeah.
Deshaun Watson in week 1 showed you that whatever he should be. I know I'm rambling and I'm going in circles because I'm trying to find the right answers for you.
Yeah.
I'm glad I'm not Casey and KOC. Because if let's just say the man leads us deep. It's kind of like with Brock Purdy. They had to keep Brock Purdy in there because what he did. Let's wait till we get there. I can't answer the question. I'm sorry. This is a question I can't answer. Let's wait till the time comes up. I'm going to defer it to you.
I'm going to try to answer the question because I think it's a different perspective because he's right. Everybody's been talking about Sam Darnold in terms of returning as a starter, and obviously the culture is good here. KOC is the quarterback whisperer. I just don't know if it fits because what it boils down to, in my opinion, Pat, it boils down to the dollars. For Sam Darnold to return here, that means that he has played pretty well. And they look at him as being a serviceable backup. Number one, I don't think that's what Sam Darnold wants, is to be a backup. And if he plays well, he's going to demand on the market more than the $10 million that he's making this year. And I don't think the Minnesota Vikings want to invest that amount of money in a backup quarterback. It's tempting. We all know J.J. McCarthy is going to be the future of the team. But Sam Darnold as a backup, I just don't know if that is realistic. Sam Darnold would have to say, I love it here so much that I'm going to take a pay cut. Because keep in mind, for them to really want to bring him back, he's had to have played pretty well. And so I just think
you keep using the word backup. If this man play good and lead us far, he just did what Geno Smith and Baker Mayfield did. He's the $30 million quarterback. There's no backup. J.J. McCarthy becomes his backup, right? So would you bring him back as the starting quarterback if he led us into the NFC Championship game?
Great question. Listen, man, I think J.J. McCarthy, he's not 100% going to be the quarterback of the future. I just think he's 99.9% going to be the quarterback of the future. It would take something astronomical. See, this is a win-win for Minnesota Viking fans because if Sam Darnold balls out against everybody, takes us on a deep playoff run, see, in my opinion, it is going to take a deep playoff run. I'm talking about NFC championship game, and it can't be on the defense. Sam Darnold has to show that he is a starting quarterback in this league. For him to surpass J.J. McCarthy, oh, man, he's got to ball out. Like, you're right, he's got a chance. I just think he's got to look so good that it destroys all of KOC's and Kwesi's plan to have JJ come in and take over next year. I mean, he's got to look really good, Pat.
4,030.
Yeah.
4,030 with a deep run.
He's got to look good.
I can't answer the question. I don't want to answer the question. I don't even want to, because I just want to enjoy whatever this is right now.
Yeah.
But it's a fantastic question, but it's very tough to answer right now.
Yeah.
That's a tough because then you like my mouth is juiced for J.J. McCarthy next year being the starting quarterback, right? I mean, thinking in my mind, Sam Darnold is playing this year and he's playing to play somewhere else, right?
Yeah.
That's in my mind.
But it may not happen that way.
It may not happen that way. And that's a reality. If the man balls out, he's 26 years old.
Yeah.
25, 26,
Yeah.
25, right? Man, that's young.
It is. And
That's
he's
young.
and he's built, Pat. He's got a strong arm. He's got a rifle, man.
That's young.
He's got a rifle.
But the plan that y'all have financially, it may not fit the years that y'all got and the dollars that we have.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a tough
Unless
question.
you can get him a signing bonus and push that money to later. Like I feel like if he balled out and we win NFC Championship game, I still think he can't get more than Baker Mayfield's 3-year, $100 million. Right?
Correct.
I don't think it can be more than that. So $33 million, we got 68 something next year. It could work, but it's what else do we have to re-sign? Right? Because I still believe if Aaron Jones goes for 1,000 yards, he's going to be the priority signing.
Yeah.
So that's my opinion.
As a fan, I hope that we are faced with that decision because I don't got to make the decision. I'm just a fan.
Yeah.
That's on Kwesi KOC. Yeah. But as a fan, that means we're doing some really good things, and I think it's a win-win for the Vikings. So if that happens where we're faced with the situation where we're in the quandary, do we sign this guy to a multi-year deal, bring him back to have a quarterback competition with J.J. McCarthy or to be the starting quarterback? That means we're in pretty good shape. Good question. Good question.
Coach, it never fails for the UP Nation to throw it out there. It never fails. Every time we do this, you get us. You get us. And I appreciate that. Who was that, Coach?
That is, I believe it was Corey.
Corey, man. Listen, every time y'all get us, you get us. There go the first one. I wonder if we got another one out there. That's the one right there. Oh, man, that's a good one.
All right, this is Micah. Lionel and Pat. Let's assume that B-Flow never gets hired as a head coach. Is there incentive for him to make a lateral move to another team as a defense coordinator, or could he entertain a college head coaching job? I'll let you start with that one.
His family is like loving it here, and his kids are fans. I would love it if he does not go anywhere. Lateral move, no, going to college. I don't think he would make a lateral move because I think the culture is right here. And the culture is built to eventually win a Super Bowl, right? So I don't think he would make a lateral move. Now, college, would he go to there? Man, he probably could really dominate at the college level. He could dominate with some, recruiting and doing things defensively at the college level. Let's just say this, if he was going to do something and it's not a head coach in the NFL, I would love to see him at a primetime Power 5, football program and take over that. But obviously my wish is for him to be here until we get that ring. So if we got a championship and he was still here until we got a championship and he left after we got a championship, I'd be happy for the man. But the selfish part of me would want him to stay. But if there was anything, I don't think he would ever make a lateral move, but college, why not?
If you're asking me if there's a chance, there's always a chance when, there's always those dollars out there. But I think it would take something just out of this world money-wise for him to make a lateral move. I didn't like it when Eric Bieniemy did it for the Chiefs when he went from the Chiefs to the Washington Commanders. Like I thought for him that was career suicide because he was on the brink of getting a head coaching job. I mean, he arguably was the offensive coordinator of the best offensive team in the league, the Super Bowl champions. I know Andy Reid got a lot of the credit, but I just don't see B-Flow, who I just don't see him making a lateral move. And in terms of college, I just don't think B-Flow is wired to be a head coach in college. I don't think that's something that would suit him. There's college football is so much different than the pros. I mean, you're dealing with men and, you're dealing with men on both sides, but, the things that you have to do in college It's just a little bit different than the pros, the recruiting, the dealing with boosters, the dealing with
NIL.
alumni. I don't know if B Flow wants to do that. I think he's, like you said, the culture is good at Minnesota. He likes his role with the Vikings. So unless there's a head coaching job out there, I think B Flow is going to be with the Vikings for a long time.
Yeah, they gonna bag him up. He'll be the highest paid defensive coordinator in the whole NFL.
Yeah. Next question is from Freeman. He says, how bad, Lionel and Patrick, do we beat the Giants in that wild card game if Flores is calling the defense instead of Donashell? Sarah, I'm sure Sarah likes this question. Listen, if B Flow was our defense coordinator, this is easy for me. If B Flow was our defensive coordinator, we win that game. Now, I don't know how much we win it by, but I know that the defensive game is called better. I know that Daniel Jones doesn't throw for 400 yards. We're not dropping back in that soft shell of a defense. I think if we had B-Flow at that time, I think we advance deeper into the playoffs and we give Kirk Cousins his second playoff win.
Yeah, we advance without a doubt. That game is not a one-score. I mean, I know that was the year of one-score games with a trash defense. We would not have one-scored that game with B-Flow, right? We would beat the hell out. We may not have even been playing them, right? Yeah. Just because we probably would have got the overall number one seed if our offense was playing like that with B-Flow defense. So I don't think we would have even ever saw them, right? Because we didn't have the number one seed that year, did we? We had the number two?
I think we had the number two.
Okay, we would have had the number one seed that year if we played lights out like that with a defense of B-Flow. So, yeah. But it would have been, we would have blew him out. Like Daniel Jones, with what B-Flow did to him then, and the things that he would have been able to do to him, right? Now, I don't know. And that could have been with that personnel then, too, that he would have been able to do that to him, even with the personnel we had then. But we did not blitz him. He would have blitzed him because he didn't have the D-backs that he does, and that would have really, really, really affected where I don't think Donatello ever blitzed in his life. I don't even know if he could spell the word blitz.
I agree with that. Agree with you 100%. Next question, Wagner. Lionel and Pat, what do you think the biggest addition we had on the defensive side of the ball this offseason? Biggest addition, Pat?
All of them. The Swiss, we got another Swiss Army knife in Van Ginkel. Like, it's without a doubt. It's when you're talking about, this is not throwing nothing at Dallas Turner. I love Dallas Turner. This is not throwing anything at JG or Cashman or Gilmore, right? That's not throwing, or Shaq Griffin. I'm not throwing anything, but I am saying Van Ginkel is versatile and allows the defense to do a lot of things. I knew this from the time coming in. He's the most familiar with B-Flow's defense, so it's easy for him to. You can move him more around in different places on the field than some of the other guys within comfort. And he's just smart as hell. He's a smart-ass football player, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you watched him back in Miami. He's smart as shit, right? Yeah, you could have said, the year before he had 6 sacks. Yeah. How many sacks did others get because of him, right?
Right.
How many disruptive things did he do within the pass game because of him, right? He affects the game in a better way up front. I'm talking about up front in the front seven. He affects the front seven where Martellus can affect front seven and back. He's really affects what is like the trenches of the game. And I feel like my answer is Van Ginkel. So,
yeah, that's my answer as well. You know, I heard everybody's referring to him as Gink, so I'm gonna start calling him Gink. I heard KOC call him Gink today. Versatile player, knows B-Flow's defense. I like the fact that according to KOC said I targeted him first before I even talked to B-Flow. And then he went and had a meeting with B-Flow and said, hey, who should we bring in? And Brian Flores said, oh, Van Ginkel. And so those two are in step with each other. I think he's a player that you can plug into a lot of different areas on that defense. To me, he's similar to like and I know they play two different positions, but he's that Swiss Army knife guy like Metellus. There are so many areas you can put Metellus in on this defense and just wreak havoc. This is the second interception for a touchdown that Van Ginkel has had this year. He had one at the night practice. A lot of people don't remember this. Sam Darnold threw a similar pass that Daniel Jones did. Van Ginkel picked it off, ran it in for 6. And, of course, you saw what we saw on Sunday. What an addition, Pat, Van Ginkel is. We just got to keep him healthy. He's had some injury issues, man, but as long as that guy is on the field and healthy for us, I think he's going to be a jewel for the Minnesota Vikings for sure.
Oh, definitely, for sure. And like you said, you got to keep them healthy, but I think they're smart. The way that they wanted to get Aaron Jones off, they got him off the field when there was no need to have him on the field to protect that foot. So from offseason, but he's been fine. Ever since he's been back, he's been one of the biggest talks within our defense, right? And
yeah,
I think he helps the defensive backs not to have to do that much anyways, right? So all those guys up front, he is here's just, I just want to touch this right quick. Is I think at halftime we only gave up 9 points last year to the San Francisco, that same San Francisco team, right?
Yeah.
Our defense is way better than what we had then. I just wanted to say that out loud. I just was sitting here thinking about it. I was like, damn, that defense did that. And we had some players, but we got 5 new starters.
Yeah. And I'm going to tell you what's going to be happening all week long in my emails and all my messages and stuff, because I've already seen a couple of people reach out, and the San Francisco 49ers fans have already hit me with, well, Debo didn't play last year. So I suppose they feel like Debo's going to make a difference. We'll see on Sunday.
Hold on.
That's what I got to say.
Let me ask you a question in that game. Did Jefferson play?
Jefferson didn't play either.
That's, I guess Debo ain't Jefferson. I can tell you that right now.
Right.
So I mean, that's the rebuttal you can throw at him, Coach. Did Jefferson play?
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Last question is from, boy, I can't even begin to pronounce that. But it's 7:44 at the end. Guys, what are your thoughts about Stephon Gilmore in his first game with the Minnesota Vikings?
He didn't have to do much. He will this week coming up against the 49ers. He didn't have to do much at all. Really, balls didn't come in his area. Like I was telling people about, one ball came was in his area. Real, like, that was an effective play. That was a positive play for the Giants. But that was Daniels was about to throw the ball. He pump faked, and it was about to be a pick 6 by Gilmore. And, Malik Lavers hit on the out to the sideline as he was trying to make a quick slant route that was about to get jumped. And then he went out. He was very creative to go out to the sideline. But that was the only play reflected. I just don't think he didn't have an opportunity to make plays. This time around, he's going to have an opportunity to make plays. I think it's going to be Ayuk and not Debo. I think Brian Murphy will take care of Debo. And with Ayuk, if Ayuk isn't really ready to go, Ayuk's going to struggle because Ayuk hasn't had the reps. And it's easier for a D-back more than a wide receiver who hasn't had all those reps through camp. I just think it's going to be a struggling night for Ayuk. I think it's going to be a struggling night anyways, because Purdy going to have people in his face all night long.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to give, Gilmore some time. I mean, he's not stepping into a bland defense. I mean, there's a lot of moving parts to it, a lot of different players that he's playing with. I didn't think he played bad on Sunday. I didn't think he stood out and played great, but I like what you said, where he didn't get a whole lot of opportunities. He did his job. He did what he had to do. So, I think he's going to get a lot more opportunities going forward. So it's just about, giving him, a big, long look over the series of about 4 to 5 games. I think it's a great signing. Stephon Gilmore is going to be really, really solid for us. Pat, I got a sneaky suspicion about this game. And I remember last week when we were going through the schedule, I picked the Vikings to lose this game. I said after the 2 games.
I did too.
Man, the Vikings are going to be 1-1. I'll tell you how I'm flipping right now. And this is not about emotions. This has nothing to do with the Giants game. It has nothing to do with that. I'm looking at Christian McCaffrey maybe being out.
He will be. He's out. He's out.
Okay. Yeah. That's huge. But the young fella that they had backing Christian McCaffrey up didn't look too bad either.
Mason looked fantastic.
Yep. But I'm just looking at B-Flow on the defensive side of the ball. And I'm going on your side of the fence now because you said the biggest thing about this season is going to be B-Flow's defense. I am right there with you. I think the defense is going to be able to keep that game close. I think the addition of Stephon Gilmore on Ayuk is going to be huge. It's going to be, Pat, can we stop the running game? Mike Shanahan loves to run the football down people's throats, whether it's from the running back position or whether it's Debo. If we can stop the running game, which I think we have the personnel to be able to do that, man, the Vikings can pull this game off. I'm not ready to pick them yet, but I can tell you this. This is how serious I am. When I do Lionel's locks this weekend, they are in a pool of games where I just may pick the Vikes to beat the San Francisco 49ers and have that be Lionel's lock. That's how serious and that's how close I am, Pat.
Well, I mean, we only won 2 games last year at home, and this was one of them. So, I wouldn't mad at you, but there are a lot of things to look at that come into play when it comes to this game. And
that travel's going to be tough, Pat.
The travel, but it stands out really on the defensive end, right? It stands out on ball control with Aaron Jones running the ball. I think our offensive line is way better than the Jets' offensive line. But I believe that the versatility of our front 7 and that front 7 and them backers, Phillips is going to be excited he got that contract. I think Trent's going to have his hands full.
Yeah.
Because there's people coming from different angles. And some things, like they rushed forward. He was smart. I am not about to show San Francisco anything. Where San Francisco, I think they may have showed a little bit more on their defense.
Oh, I know they did.
On Monday night. And B-Flow didn't. And there's one person that I'm going to tell you right now that didn't get loose at all yet. And that's JG.
Okay.
Jonathan Grenard did not get loose, and he is going to let that man loose. I mean, with all the things, Dallas Turner, him, Patrick Jones, all it, dude, you got Bosa. We got all these different, don't get me wrong, your defense as a whole, 11, that's a damn good defense in San Francisco.
Yeah.
So that is not me knocking that at all. But I think this is a pretty damn good defense too.
Yeah. If I picked the Vikes to lose, and I'm going to stand by that pick for now, but the pendulum is swinging, man. I just look at the different matchups. I look at stats of teams that play Monday night and what they do on Sunday games after their Monday night game. The win-loss record for those teams aren't good because you lose a day of preparation and you have a day of travel built in there. So, and then you're playing in a different time zone. That's going to affect you as well. And so these handicappers that are out there in Vegas, man, they know they know exactly where to set the line. And I just got a feeling that the Vikings have a really, really good opportunity to pull this thing off. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I know. I think it opened at 6.5. I don't know where it is right now. but I'm pretty sure that line is, yes, it opened at 7. It's dropping.
Okay. Oh yeah. See, I don't know. I got a weird feeling about this, but we'll talk about all the lines and stuff when we do Patrick Picks. Patrick Picks is coming up again. We'll have that show for you guys. Those of you that like to dabble and putting some money down on some games. I believe Patrick went 2-2 last year, didn't you? Last week, Pat, didn't you?
No, so yeah, I went 3-2 to be
3 and
honest,
2.
because within the first picks, if you would have looked in the comments right after we posted, I said, "Do not touch the Bengals game." I said, "Take the Vikings." So I went 3-0. We combined went 4-0 when it came to NFL, right?
Right.
Lionel's lock was a lock. 0-2 in college. This week, I am not going to do college. I am going to give you 5 NFL games. So,
Okay, looking forward to that. I will have a lock. I'm not sure what my lock is going to be right now. I'm looking at a bunch of different games and trying to get a feel for what's going on and what's out there. So I'll have my one pick, the one Lionel's lock pick, and going from there. Great show tonight. Great questions. Keep hitting us with emails. Keep hitting that like and subscribe button. Unconventional Playbook is continuing to grow. Can't believe the amount of subscribers that we have and people that chime in on our shows. So thank you for the support. Pat, anything you want to say to UP Nation before we get out of here, man?
nah, man, continue with the support. Continue with the good questions. We'll continue to bring you the content. Speak to you the way that you want to be spoken to about your favorite team, right? And that's the Minnesota Vikings. That's the purple. Skull.
Yeah, and for any fan out there, UP member, for those of you that are interested in possibly coming on the show with Patrick and I, put something in the comments, send me an email, message me, do whatever you got to do, and tell me why and how you became a Minnesota Vikings fan. And then maybe in some future episodes, we'll definitely have you on. So we are definitely looking forward to that. Pat, man, it's been a great show. I appreciate you having you on, man.
Oh yeah, I appreciate you having you on, being on here with you, man, and doing what we do best. So we'll see you when you see you, UP.
Latrey, take us out of here, man. We'll see you when we see you.
I don't know who I am. Can I say I'm a man? Am I losing my mind? Am I wasting my time? Do I know who